Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Rabbit Motorworks. Today we're having some charging system woes in the IROC. Doesn't seem to be kicking out the charge, so let's get into that and figure out why. Stay tuned. So, I was driving the car back from Huntington Beach the other day, and I was looking at the dash, and as I got in, and you can see the gauge, it's not reading an accurate charge on the battery, just with the ignition circuit on. So I start the car here. You can see it's not producing much of a charge either, so that should be sitting like right at 13. So my assumptions are the alternator. I did do some tightening of a belt because it was squealing every time I started the car, and that was probably a few weeks ago. I don't know if that had anything to do with the alternator or not, but let's do some measuring with the multimeter to see what it's putting out or maybe not putting out. So let's check that out. I've had this multimeter for quite a few years. It's a Fluke 88 multimeter. I just did a little maintenance on it as well too. The elastomers for the LCD screen were causing issues, so I just did a refurb on that. So it's like one project leads to another. So this is all fixed, and so now I trust the meter. We'll do some readings here to see exactly what the voltage is at the battery. So I'm touching the negative terminal to the positive terminal, and turn the light on here. And I've got 11.95 as a reading, so that's definitely low. That should be at 12 volts or higher. So that tells me something's not charging. So let's start the car up and see what it reads, and see if the alternator is kicking a charge out to it as well. Okay, now I definitely smell something kind of funny. And it's reading 13.20, 16, 18. So it's not putting out 14, and it seems like it's dropping in its performance. It's an AC Delco remanufactured alternator. I put it on when I got the car revived. I think we're going to swap it out, like I said, just to be safe. And it's under warranty. Better safe than sorry. And the other thing I did as well too is I'll show you I bought some brackets and other things to make it original. Okay, so already I'm hearing some weird whirring noises from the alternator, and that was kind of unplanned, so that's not good. Already gives me a suspicion. Oh, look at this. Now I've got 13.7472. So it's charging again now, which is very odd. I just did this and it wasn't charging. So I'm suspicious as far as if the alternator is on its way out, it's good or bad. Let's definitely testing. That's very strange. It's definitely putting a load on the car right now too. gauge is a little under 13, but it is charging. And I'm very suspicious of the condition of that alternator. So I bought another alternator just to swap it out, and I think we're gonna do it anyways. That's very odd that all of a sudden it's charging now. And I'd like to see it at 14 or better for performance. And this gauge would be, you know, well set at 13 or better. Man, oh man, is this thing hot. So if I had an infrared thermometer, which I don't, whew, I'm just about ready to burn my finger there. That tells me that's a good enough indicator that it's hot. I do want to buy one of those really cool infrared thermometers. I don't know if you guys have one or not. They're really handy. You can basically point it with a laser, blam, it tells you exactly what the temperature of something is. But that thing's hot. So it's shot. I'm convinced we're going to put the alternator in and swap it out. So that thing's just a muck. But interesting drama how that developed. Seeing the fluctuations in output. So very, very strange. So let's get in it. Let's take that out of there and put the new one in. So I bought some parts, you know, as I started to get into this. One of the things that I did when I originally bought the car is the alternator was missing out of the car, so I put an AC Delco rebuild in. So that's really what I rebuilt. I got back from Rock Auto here. They gave me a warranty covered unit. Remanufactured alternators, as you guys know, are, you know, kind of a crapshoot as far as quality and reliability. These are made in China now, not made in the US or other reputable areas, which I've heard a lot of people say that's kind of a shame. It is what it is. It's still an AC Delco part, so that's what I'm kind of sticking with. I'm now into it because it's under a 24-month warranty period. So cool thing of that is it's going to be no cost for putting a new alternator in. However, when I did, like I mentioned, bought the car, I bought this other bracket too, because it was missing when I originally bought the car. The car didn't have an alternator. I bought a replacement, and I couldn't find, the previous owner didn't have this lower bracket, and I'll show you where this goes. And so I basically bought an aftermarket chrome tube and a different bolt to go through it. And then I got on the eBay, and I was reading about this bracket and how it actually works together with the alternator. So I was able to locate one. Cool thing, just bought that. So we'll swap that out and get it to the correct configuration too, making sure that that may help or you know, keep the stability of the alternator. This basically goes, the alternator goes here, bolts to the back of the alternator, and then of course this, you know, bolts to the block and the cylinder head. So that's good. And the other thing I noticed as well, so I got a Dorman a boot for the back of the alternator itself. So the wire that's exposed on the back of the alternator does not have any protection from it, and it's 12 volts of power. So this boot basically goes and covers, get this out of the package here, this basically covers that, so you get a nice clean protection of that. These are pretty common, they've been around for years. So that goes there. This piece goes like this. So this bolt basically covers this. This bracket goes like this and bolts to the alternator like that. Then this bolt comes through like that and bolts onto the car. So all that, all OE original, so we'll put this back on the car and bring it back to the original spec as well too while we're doing the job. And so let's dig in. Okay, we're ready to rock. We'll start by disconnecting the battery for safety, and then I've got all the tools collected needed to take the alternator out, so we'll get into that. Okay, we got them out, and it's still kind of warm, but not too bad. Yeah, it's still pretty hot. I'm gonna put these gloves back on. One of the things I can already see is there's a bit of a wobble in the case, but you can hear the bearing is definitely noisy and loud, so that ain't good. So this is bad. It's clearly, you can even hear the case jiggling around and the windings there. So this is the new one. Sounds better. I don't know, I look at it a little bit and think that should be more perfect. But that's kind of the part of some of the quality of these remanufactured units. But we're gonna give it a try. Hope this one does better, lasts longer. Like I said, it's under warranty, so got nothing to lose. At least it's gonna charge and not make a whirring sound. All right. Here's another add-on I forgot to talk about. This is the setup that I had used previously because I didn't have that bracket. So that was that chrome tube and this bolt that I talked about, which is quite different than this setup here. But as you can see, same, well, a little bit longer distance, but I'm sure that didn't throw a whole lot of things off. But yeah, anyways, that's what was on. And so now we're gonna put this in instead. So tighten this down and start assembling and getting this together. Okay, we got the new one in. So let's give it a turn and see how it does. Already that's a lot quieter. I can just tell that the whirring noise is gone. So I'm gonna give it a little bit of time here to settle down on the idle. This thing does. Look at that, 14.27. That thing's cranking out good charging power now. Fantastic. Well, that's awesome. We have got a definitely great charging alternator back in there. So right on, that's awesome. We've solved the problem, put the new alternator in, it's charging great. Definitely a bad bearing. We got all the things that were missing on the alternator back in. We got the right bracket now, we got a boot, so it's all safe. It's purring nicely. And let's go check the gauge on the dash. See what that says. 13, 14 range, so perfect. Now I trust the gauge in the vehicle. It just seems like it's purring nicely and running nicer too, so that bad bearing, I could definitely feel it within the car. It's, you know, across everything. So you kind of wonder when something's up with your car, you know it is, and eventually, you know, the problem presents itself. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. We enjoy working on cars, keep bringing you great content. So stay safe out there. Peace.